Damage to curbs is a serious problem for the majority of house builders. The main cause typically being impacts from vehicles such as telehandlers, diggers and delivery lorries. These impacts can cause structural damage or physically unseat curbs. In certain site hotspots, it is reported that curbs can be replaced up to 5 times throughout the duration of a development. Damaged or unseated curbs have a number of implications for the house builder. Minor cosmetic damages, such as chips and small cracks, can develop into bigger problems over time. More severe structural damage can result in the curb disintegrating altogether, also affecting the integrity of the surrounding highway construction. Damaged or unseated curbs can have serious health and safety implications for workers and site visitors, potentially resulting in compensation claims, temporary site closure, and bad publicity. Clearly, there are material and labour costs associated with replacing damaged curbs. We'll look at these in more detail in a few moments. But as well as the obvious visible costs, there are also a number of significant unseen costs to consider. Remedial work invariably causes disruption to a site, resulting in delays to schedules, access issues for workers and deliveries, and inconvenience to existing residents and potential buyers visiting the site. Damaged and unseated curbs present a poor first impression of a site, making it appear untidy, unsafe, and less appealing to prospective buyers. Damaged curbs are unlikely to meet the statutory requirements of a local highways authority, resulting in delays to the adoption process. Another key factor to consider is the environmental impact of replacing curbs. It is well documented that the production of the materials used to make concrete has one of the highest environmental impacts of all man-made materials. Currently, the generally accepted practice is to expect damages and that curbs will have to be replaced. There is, however, an alternative to replacement, namely protection. The award-winning KerbGuard is specifically designed to absorb impacts, protecting curbs and preventing damages. Made from heavy-duty 100% recycled PVC, KerbGuard is reusable and 100% recyclable. Easily installed, KerbGuard can be fixed in position by simply haunching with temporary tarmac, or alternatively, it can be installed using anchor bolts. Whichever fixing method is used, KerbGuard can be easily removed and reused around the site. Where pavements have been top-coated, a specially designed spacer ensures that the KerbGuard sits correctly in position. The removable and reusable nature of KerbGuard means that it provides a highly flexible solution to protecting the curbs around your site. The next section highlights typical site hotspots where KerbGuards might be deployed and how they can be moved around the site as the development progresses. The main site roads provide access to key areas and are likely to experience particularly heavy construction traffic. KerbGuards should be deployed at the hotspots along these routes and left in place for the duration of the development. The areas around the site offices, compound and parking areas are also major site hotspots. Again, KerbGuards should be deployed here and left in place for the duration of the development. Typically, developments are split into a number of phases, with plots in multiple phases being under construction at any one time. Prior to work commencing on a phase, KerbGuards should be deployed in hotspots such as road corners and junctions, remaining in place for the duration of construction in that phase. Taking into account that phases are often split and that multiple sub-phases can be under construction simultaneously, your build execution plan will help determine the number of KerbGuards you require at any one time. Curbs adjacent to plots under construction are another typical site hotspot, being particularly susceptible to damage from telehandlers delivering materials. KerbGuards should be deployed in these locations whilst the plots are under construction. Once a sub-phase is completed, the KerbGuards adjacent to the finished plots can be removed and redeployed to the next sub-phase in the build sequence. Once phases 1 and 2 are completed, all KerbGuards, including those protecting the road corners and junctions, can be removed and redeployed to phases 3 and 4 of the development. These same principles are followed throughout the build sequence, reusing the KerbGuards in multiple locations across the site. Upon completion of the development and with the site offices and compound areas decommissioned, the remaining curb guards can be removed and redeployed to the next development. So what are the comparative costs and CO2 emissions when comparing curb replacement versus curb protection? Materials and labour for the initial installation of a curb are around £35 per curb, with 9.5 kilograms of CO2 emissions. Replacing a damaged curb typically costs around £43. This figure includes replacement materials, labour and disposal of the damaged curb. In addition to the cost, there is also a further 9.5 kilograms of CO2 emissions. So, in addition to the initial installation cost and CO2 emissions, for every subsequent replacement there is an additional cost and CO2 emission to be added. Using the scenario mentioned earlier, whereby a curb could be replaced up to 5 times, the total cost for replacement could be £250 per curb, with total CO2 emissions of 57 kilograms. If we look at the cost for protecting a curb with KerbGuard, the comparable cost is £86 per curb. This includes the initial installation of the curb and cost of the KerbGuard, the temporary tarmac and labour for the installation and removal of the KerbGuard, and the disposal of the temporary tarmac. The comparable CO2 emissions come in at 25.1 kilograms per curb. Overall, a potential cost saving of £164 and almost 32 kilograms of CO2 per curb. Not forgetting that the KerbGuard can be reused multiple times, generating further potential savings of £198 and 43.5 kilograms of CO2 per curb on each subsequent deployment. To summarise, damaged or unseated curbs cause significant issues for the house builder. These include cosmetic damage, structural damage, cost considerations, health and safety concerns, as well as the unseen costs such as site disruption, site image, non-adoption by local highways authority, and the environmental impact. All of these have a real and significant influence on non-productive costs, therefore presenting a compelling argument for the protection of curbs. Curb guards protect curbs from impacts, reducing the likelihood of damages and the need for replacement, resulting in substantial cost savings. Curb guards help to alleviate health and safety issues, making your site a safer environment for workers and visitors. Made from 100% recycled material, curb guards are reusable and 100% recyclable, providing significant environmental benefits. Furthermore, curb guards also reduce the unseen costs associated with curb damage and can improve your site's image, helping towards accreditations such as the NHBC Pride in the Job Awards. Don't replace curbs, protect them with curb guards. Curb guards are exclusively distributed in the UK by Ockwells. Ockwells, protecting your investment.